So think about it. In a game of cards, we might have 40 to 52 cards, right? But in this game today, I'm only going to withdraw 3 cards, which are 3 pieces of the reality we're living today. And we're going to hand Alex 3 cards to which he can answer, or with which he can answer. So the first card that I'm going to withdraw, Alex, are you ready to play a game?
I am absolutely ready. Excited.
Yes. Okay. Because it's fun because it's a game, but the game is not fun by itself. So let me give you a little bit of context. The first one, my first card, is mental health. Mental health, it is a huge issue that it's affecting millions of people around the world. And at the same time, those people are impacting and influencing billions of other people, businesses, governments, economies, companies, families. So that is our first card. And your first card to answer that is passion.
Very well, very well. Love the game, first of all. Thank you for being so creative.
Thank you.
It's interesting when we talk about the importance of passion in one's professional career, because it's been my experience that when you have identified a true purpose and you're ready to impact your business, your society, your circle of trust, your passion comes alive. And one is intertwined with the other. Once you have a purpose clear, then you can use your passion to conduct yourself and try to influence others. But what is being true is that during these 2 years of COVID, it has not been the same. Conveying passion usually happens better and more effectively when you are surrounded by other people, when you are in a room where you can feel the energy of those around you and you can transmit your own energy to those around you. So mental health during COVID times, if I have to speak for myself, it's been a challenge because you can be so passionate for so long when you are behind the camera. And then your light starts to dim a little bit. So I don't know you that are listening to us today in this interview, but my light dimmed a lot during the past 2 years.
First of all, Alex, I want to compliment you because of sharing your own personal experience with this. I mean, showing that vulnerability that not all of the leaders are prepared to do. So thank you for that. I really appreciate your sincerity here.
Absolutely. It was difficult, Mariana. It was a moment where you knew that you had a responsibility as a leader of a group of people to maintain yourselves motivated, to cheer up people, to cheer up yourself, your family. But day after day, when you are surrounded by only a camera and everybody is behind the camera, I felt in my own experience that I was being less of myself, that I was being more rehearsed, that I was probably even losing authenticity sometimes by trying to force myself to be cheerful. And one of the things that I've learned is that it was important at some times, at some days, to just tell people, I can't take it anymore. I'm fed up. This is a tough day. It's been a tough week. And I just want to let you guys know that I am feeling this way or that way. And that learning came probably after the first 6 months of COVID. And I hope it stays with me because letting those emotions flow through me have been proven to be a good defense mechanism against depression or anxiety.
So, Alex, there's another thing that we have to share with the audience. You are an ex-COO since March 31st. So literally 3 days ago, you were still in your position. And we were holding this interview until today so you could be totally unleashed, which I'm taking that you are right now. You're showing that you're totally unleashed, and I love that. Now, in your position as a COO, when you share your vulnerability, when you share that you cannot take it anymore, maybe that you're having a very bad day with your team, how did your team react to that?
It's impressive how things are different than what I thought. I thought that my responsibility as a leader, and I've been a CEO, country manager since 2008, that you were supposed to just keep a smile, keep a positive attitude. And all that is true, all that is important. Showing your passion is important for people to see where you're trying to go, and people like to jump into the bandwagon. But what I discovered is that when you let those bad days come through you and you are able to articulate those words to your team surrounds you. And when your team surrounds you, the message is triple powerful, because it is a message of there is no hierarchies here when it comes to human natures and supporting each other. The most important thing that we do as human beings is exactly that, is supporting each other. So what I've seen in these past 2 years, and it's more even so in the last year, is that everybody steps up to the plate to surround you, and we all step up to the plate to surround anyone that is going through a bad day. I cannot believe that we, or at least myself, had not learned that before. Teams get way more cohesive, teams get way more compenetrated when people are vulnerable and authentic. And let
Alex, I love what you're saying. And let me ask you, let me interrupt you there for 1 second. So you felt embraced somehow by your team, but at the same time, do you feel that by being vulnerable and by showing what you were going through, do you feel that you gave permission for your team to be the same way, to share whenever they were down or whenever they were going through a bad day or a bad moment? Were they more open to share it?
Yes, I think that leadership is a social responsibility, and I think that we need to role model the behaviors that we want people to embrace, and that we want to surround ourselves with, quite honestly. And I have a funny anecdote from, I don't know, 10 years ago, when we took off our ties and we were starting to promote offices around the world to not wear a tie anymore. And I remember that in those countries where the local CEO had not taken his tie, in this case, the males that wear tie, the rest of the team didn't do it either. To your point, role modeling, authenticity, vulnerability, or simply being a human that let everybody see how you are, and not with a facade and a mask all the time, is important for everybody to start doing the same. But it's not only about leadership. I think it is about being more egalitarian, being more in a space where everybody feels that they can bring their whole selves to work, not only that very professional image. And COVID helped us. COVID helped us, Mariana, because you could see the cat, the dog, the person needs to stop a conference call to open the door, the baby's crying, the food is ready, the delivery man is at the door. We all became more human. And we started this conversation, Mariana, talking about passion.
Yes, I was going to go back to that. How does passion help?
I think
in
passion,
mental health?
yeah, I think passion can be construed as something fake, if not surrounded by authenticity and vulnerability. Because if everybody is just saying rah rah rah, we are excited about what we are doing, and everybody uses those same words all the time, there is a point in time when people start saying nobody is excited 100% of the time. People are just using those words to fit in the mold. And when you weave in a little bit of frustration, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of what is the human nature of our day to day, and you go back the next day to your purpose, to your mission, to the vision, to what we are going to achieve, that passion heightens, because now it's a passion that is perceived by everybody as authentic, and then everybody wants to get into that.
So let me try to rephrase what you were saying to see if I understand it correctly. You're saying that when there's frustration, when there's inconformity, then about an issue that you care about, then you become passionate about that issue. Now that passion can drop, but then when you have a higher purpose, then that passion would be strengthened. Is that?
Yes, and in addition to that, not only it gets strengthened, but it gets fortified when you stop some days and let everybody talk about their feelings, their emotions, their frustrations, and what is going on. Because then the day after, when you retake your mission, people now feel that we are pursuing this because we all believe in this purpose, in this mission. We all want to impact something, and not simply because we want to please a leader or just be part of the culture of the organization. People start believing more and better the mission, the purpose of the team, when they are allowed to weave in their own emotions, I believe.
So let me keep digging into passion, because it is a passion of mine to be passionate. So let me ask you this. You come from Colombia. I come from Argentina. I believe the Spanish-speaking markets, including Spain, where I'm living right now, we have been educated that success comes from effort. But nobody speaks about passion. That's why I love to dig in deeper with you. What's in your equation of success? Where does passion and effort meet together, or how different they are? Even, do you need more passion, more effort? Do you need effort, or really success is effortless and it's more based on passion and drive and purpose?
First of all, I don't think I am one of those people that want to talk about success formulas, because I don't think there is such a thing as a success formula. I think we all go through life helping others and achieving ourselves and our families with things. And regardless of how much you grow in your professional career, which is where most people tend to focus on, there is this other column called the cost of it. And the cost of growing faster is a lot of things. And I believe that people that listen to the stories of others that have achieved professional careers that have gone faster should also think about the cost of that. And the cost is traveling, the cost is not being there sometimes for our family members, the cost is stress, the cost is not sleeping well, even not only for preoccupations, but for just simply time zone changes. And there are many costs associated with that. So how do you combine passion with effort and what I'm saying about cost? I think the three are very much intertwined, because when you are clear in what is your purpose and you really want to achieve it and you show it every day and you insist, that's what people receive as passion. But the fact that you show up every day to try to convey that message, that is effort. And the fact that you do it the day that you are jet lagged or with 10,000 preoccupations related to your personal life, that is cost. So the three cannot separate from each other. I believe that when you are passionate, you are at the same time putting a lot of effort to show up every day with great work ethics that would allow you to use your passion. And then by doing it, you are every day overcoming the cost of what you're doing.
Great. Well, thank you so much. So we're going to close that first card because I have two more, but I want to share with you a comment that we have from the audience. And it says, it has been a very challenging time for leaders. Great of you to be strong enough to share that you are not always strong enough. So congratulations. Thank you for that comment, Karine. And we're going to go to my next card. Are you ready to keep playing the game?
Absolutely. Deal it.
Okay, deal it. So the next card is totally different, and it's about the VR and the metaverse universe that we're going to be digging in. We don't fully yet understand what it is about. Many people haven't even experienced it yet, but we know it's coming because if we follow the money, we see companies like Facebook now changing even their name to metaverse, right? So we do know it's coming. Now, how can you help us understand what role reinventing yourself or ourselves can help us navigate and succeed? I know you just said you don't like the word success, but achieve, let's say achieve, succeed in this new reality. How do we pair those two?
Yeah, I think when I talk about the things that have worked for me that I hope work for other people are those three that you mentioned at the beginning, right? Passion and making sure that you always double down on your passion. It is about reinvention, which is tied to innovation, and it is about courage. And when it is about innovation, why? Because getting into a new job, starting a new business, or getting into a new public position, it's always about looking, what can we do better? How can we help improve the way things have been done in this job, in this space that I am now responsible for? And if you are into questioning that status quo, if you are into understanding that there's gotta be, even if it is done in a great manner, a little bit of space to do it better, then we are making a service to that industry, that market, or that community. However, a lot of the reinvention that we've done over the past few decades is related to technology. And it is great because technology helps us do things faster, cheaper, and better. But during COVID, we have also come to the realization that although we can be in 3 or 4 countries in a week that we couldn't do before, and visit our offices in 3 or 4 countries in a day, not even in a week.
Yes, because I was going to say that in a week I've been there for 3 or 4 countries in a row. So, and you probably too, because we manage Latin America, and you can go from Costa Rica to Nicaragua to Panama to Guatemala all in the same week. So, okay.
That's absolutely right.
Let's do it.
And although during this time we have come to the realization that we can be in 3 or 4 places in the same day and visit better and advance our conversations more, the reality is that we did it behind the camera. And then at noon, we turn off the computer for just taking a little break, and you were alone. And in my case, I was walking with my dog in the trails, just to get a little bit of nature in me. And that sounds beautiful until you've done it for 3 months, every single day.
And the dog does not talk to you, right?
Well, I'm starting to believe that mine does, which I probably need some psychiatric help for that.
Okay, but how does metaverse come into picture? And you're a super expert on the insurance business. Do you see the insurance business in the metaverse reinventing itself?
Yes.
Will we need insurances for our houses and our homes in the metaverse, or how will that work?
We do need insurance for NFTs for sure.
For everything.
And eventually not only the NFTs, but other assets in the metaverse will need insurance, and we are all trying to understand how that's going to be. But where I was going with this, Mariana, is when teams are starting to get together again after lockdown. And that happened very sporadically, right? We probably met once and didn't meet for another few months. I think people were able to understand the power of energy and how we together energize each other. So before COVID, I was thinking of metaverse in that reinvention category. We need to continue finding technological ways to do things cheaper, better, and faster. But before COVID, I did not understand the importance of energizing each other when we are in human contact with each other. Today, when I look at metaverse, I see it with the same eye of curiosity and optimism about things that we can discover there as a human race, but I also see it with a grain of salt now. And the reason I see it with a grain of salt is because it does not allow for human re-energization of each other. And now I know that we need that. I wonder if our kids, after having gone through COVID and sometimes in an even more drastic way than us, those that were at school suffered a lot, are going to look at metaverse as a place where they want to live absolutely virtual lives. I don't know. I've seen my own kids, 17 and 15, understanding also the importance of human connection and interaction. And I've seen how they changed from their 100% virtual worlds to now wanting to be more out there with their friends. And that was a trend that was not happening in that direction before COVID.
Yeah, you know that I interview many people, and I'm interviewing a lot of doctors. And as a sideline, I was interviewing a plastic surgeon, and he was telling me, sharing stories about how people now go into his consult and they ask that they want to look exactly like they look on Instagram, because they're using all these filters and this. I was like, really? I mean, but can you imagine when those people will go and say, I want to look just like my avatar in metaverse? I don't know where we're going, but reinvention is, I mean, it's my thing. And I don't know that we can reinvent that much, but we will. I mean, I know we will. Eventually we will.
You know, I think the game we're playing today with your cards is very interesting because...
Yeah, and I have one more, so...
we can even go back to mental health, because what happens with reinvention is that we have been reinventing technologies and technologies that separate humans. Now we have enough data that show us the depressions that not only adults, but children have lived over COVID. We know, I know how much I was probably less patient and speaking in different tones to my own kids and my own wife during this period of time. So I don't know if reinvention, which is a great thing to maintain doing every time we are doing a new job or taking over our day-to-day function, I don't know if we are going to move in the direction of doing reinventions that separate humans. I think things are going to start to fall into place and the pendulum is going to move to the middle a little bit in that respect.
I'm hoping right now that Facebook is listening to you. I am really. So let's play our third card, which is even more tragic than metaverse, and it is the war in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine, it's also a war against the free world, our world, the world in the West and all the democratic countries. That's kind of what we live. We live in a free world. We love our free world. Now, with this war against Ukraine and our free world, our world will suffer a lot. And for many years, they're saying, right? And especially, for example, African countries can, or economies can be really affected. And suffer from more hunger than that they have already. And we can suffer in so many different ways. I mean, it's going to affect not only the material part of our life, but also our emotional part, our mental health. We're going to have tons of millions of people with PTSD. So there you have the last one of your cards that I love so much, which is courage. How can we pair this challenging times with courage?
It's an interesting analogy that you are trying to draw there, no? Because it is true that in my professional life, being passionate and focused with a purpose, reinventing what I'm doing in my job and trying to find ways through technology to make it better, faster, and cheaper. And then once an obstacle faces, an obstacle is presented in front of you, doubling down in your passion by using courage as the gasoline to fuel that passion is what has worked for me. And if we look at the world today, the world is been pursuing this, the free world, as we call it, is been pursuing this dream of remaining free, of using globalization, of using free markets, of using capitalism. And if I had to put an analogy or a comparison with my life, we are at that point where an obstacle is presented in front of us. And what's worked for my professional career is to draw from courage, to double down on the passion, and to pursue the mission, the purpose. Therefore, if the mission is to remain free, to remain an economy of free markets in a free world that is fueled by capitalism, it sounds like courage is at the center of what we need to continue to support today. And I've seen a lot of courage from a lot of leaders in the past few months in the outcome of this war situation.
Thank you, Alex. And I think when you and I first talked, you told me everybody needs a leader. We all need a leader to follow. So I believe that right now, leadership, it is at stake. And that's why we're bringing all leaders from around the world with different backgrounds and different points of view to comment on these critical things or cards that we play today, you know, and there are many more things or many more cards that we can still play to make this world a better place. So thank you. So yes, go ahead.
No, you just inspire me to say something about leadership is in all of us. And today, thanks to social media, and look at what you're doing here today, connecting with so many people over the social media outlets. Everybody that writes something, help other person through their role modeling, through their leadership, as I call it, with their ideas. So before, leaders were just these people that we knew their names and they were heads of state and president of companies. But today we all lead. We are all leaders by just voicing our opinion, by just serving as role models for others to see. And social media is the fuel that allow everybody to lead each other. It's a beautiful social responsibility.
Yeah, thanks so much. I like it that it's a social responsibility. And I believe it's been maybe 20 or 25 or 30 years, I don't know how many, but I've been saying that there's no leaders without followers, you know, because you might have the bosses, the role, you know, the responsibility, the authority, but to become a leader, you have to have a vision that you share and people that will follow that vision. I mean, whether it's in social media or whether it's in your own home, but you have to have someone that will be inspired, you know, but whatever you're doing.
And you have no idea how many times in these past 2 years, I followed the advice of somebody in my team that volunteered an idea of how to handle better the situation with my own kids at home. And then I became a follower. And then I thanked that person in my team that was a leader for all of us that were listening over virtual drinks.
Oh,
And
I love it. I love it.
leadership is beautiful today. It's way more democratized.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I don't know if we do have comments or questions for Alex down on the social media channels. Sometimes we have like delay, so it might be that they're coming up and then we're shutting down, so it happens. But you can leave your comments and your questions for Alex. That I'm going to be just very curious to know Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or the next week or the following month. I don't know, where are you heading now after so many years in Liberty Mutual? I'm sure that you're going to be in the insurance business. I want to know if you're going to be in the metaverse of the insurance business or where, but we'll keep following your steps and following your leadership. Thank you, Alex, so much for sharing this valuable time on your Sunday with us.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It was a pleasure to be here with you, and rest assured that I will let you know as soon as I can.
Thank you. Okay, hang on one second. We have some people. Okay. Well, as I said, just follow up with your questions underneath, and we will. Okay, hang on. Can you answer some questions because you're popping
Absolutely.
up? Yes.
Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
So it says, to combine mental health and insurance passions, how are insurance companies thinking? And this is great because now you can answer. Maybe a week from now, you won't be able to answer anymore. But it says, how are insurance companies thinking about the risk that mental health deterioration is posing to the corporate world? I love that question. I had exactly the same question because it is a risk. So are you factoring in the mental health? Yes.
Yeah, not only insurance companies, but all corporate America in the forums that I've been present at are very worried about the impact that mental health has on our professional collaborators, the persons, the people that work shoulder to shoulder with us every day. And there are two aspects of that conversation that is important. One aspect is what the new normal looks like. Are we gonna make sure that people go back to the office once a week, twice a month, 3 times a week? Everybody's making different decisions and in that front. But the truth is that whatever decision companies are making, what is at the center of the decision is trying to facilitate that people interact with people. And this is especially important for the entry-level people, for the people that are trying to get their careers started. They're trying to move up in the corporate ladder. That is the second aspect of this conversation that is important, because people that are already leaders, managers, vice presidents, presidents, they probably know enough people in the organization to have a strong network. And you can maintain it a little bit via Zoom. But people that are new to the company, people that are new to their careers, they need to build those networks. And if we don't provide the physical space for that energy to flow between and among humans, it is more difficult for the new generations to create those networks.
I get that, and I totally agree with you. I mean, the onboarding, especially of the newcomers, it's being so hard. I mean, if you don't understand the culture, you don't have a network, you don't have anyone to ask a question to, you have to get on a call with someone, especially, and you don't exactly know who. But I don't know, but I think, or if it wasn't that the intention, I'm going to share my intention of question would be, are insurance companies factoring in the risk in their policies to other companies about mental health? Are you even considering it?
It is definitely a place of concern right now. I wouldn't be able to disclose confidential information of the companies that I work for, but what I can tell you is that it is a concern. And the numbers, however, and this is the good news, if we want to see the glass half full, is that after lockdown ended, the numbers have eased down. After mask mandates ended, the numbers are starting to trend in a different direction. So I think we have enough data, not only insurance companies, but a lot of other sectors as well, to know what are the things that correlated with mental health and less productivity, what were the things that didn't. And I think the next couple of years are going to be very important, Mariana, for companies to decide what is that perfect combination between the virtual life and the presential life in office, or at least face to face.
Yes, but that is related to COVID, Alex. But I remember before COVID, I used to go to a very well-known gym throughout the United States, Equinox in Miami. And one day, one Saturday morning, as I was driving to the gym, someone calls me and they go like, where are you? Where are you? Everybody knew I was going to the gym at 12 noon on a Saturday, right? Everybody in my family. So where are you? Where are you? And I'm going like, I'm driving to the gym. Why? What happened? And they say, don't go to the gym. Don't go to the gym. Okay, what happened? One of the trainers was fired that morning. Do you know the story?
I remember, yeah, he came back and shoot somebody,
Yeah.
no?
Well, he shot two people to death. The third manager he couldn't find. And then he went to the locker room, got the men out, and just shot himself. So that is mental health. That's a problem. That could have been a massacre in that in the gym. So I know it is very difficult, or I'm assuming it's very difficult to factor in the risk of mental health. But are insurance companies doing anything to factor it in?
Yeah, look, insurance companies sell policies that have a coverage called active shooter. Some insurance companies do that. An active shooter is a coverage of terrorism policies that is not very common, or was not very common until a few years ago. That is how insurance companies factor that in. But when we try to understand insurance companies and the sector in general, Mariana, what we need to understand is that insurance companies are only a reflection of society. If society is worried about one aspect, like ships sinking in the middle of the ocean, then the society gets together and save money in a larger group of people and vessel owners for them to pay to the person that suffers the loss.
Yeah,
insurance companies are only the facilitator of that. Insurance companies are the organizers of getting money from everybody and responding to the concern of the society. That is the concern of this society that is becoming more prominent every day.
Right.
And as society continues to worry about that, more insurance companies will continue to cover, and we now have the data to be able to price it properly.
I'm going to give you my optimistic point of view here, that if insurance companies get together and they decide to, to factor in the risk and to quantificate it and to charge for it, then companies will start taking more seriously doing something about mental health. So you might have a developing business there, and we might have a better understanding of mental health.
You have a great point, Mariana, and it happens today with health insurance companies in the United States. You see in the corporate programs that they have with large companies that taking certain assessments and only walking the 10,000 steps or going to the gym or doing all the things that help with mental health is rewarded in the premium that those companies pay for their health insurance. I'm not an expert in health insurance, but I have been seeing that for the past 5 years, growing and growing and growing, even before COVID. I agree with you entirely.
Okay, well, hey, listen, thank you so much. I know we've been past the time already. So thank you, Alex. I wish you the best. We wish you the best for your next step, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you, Mariana, for having me here. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.